All right, I thought I would talk a little bit about my YouTube channel a little bit and where it's been so far and where I'm going and stuff like that. I'll mostly talk about the I'll just go on and it might be interesting, it might not be, but I hope it is interesting. So the YouTube channel Spark Your Next Great Idea inspiration page for my YouTube channel gives a couple tags: political philosophy, spiritual psychology, social commentary, metaphysical theory, and public policy analysis. And I suppose these are the ones that YouTube has decided that I'm most emphasizing in my thing, and that's kind of like true. But I've changed my YouTube channel to include gaming and having a big think. It's KJ having a big KJ gaming and having a big think. And something occurred to me where it's like I actually told YouTube to stop recommending me the Calvinist channel Desiring God. Um, or maybe I didn't. I just unsubscribed. But basically, it was getting me down all the time in like scrupulosity, which is like if you have a scrupulous, it's like an iron tool for scraping the skin and it really hurts. It's got a biting sensation to it. And it's like, okay. Yeah, it's also known as religious OCD, and it's like a biting conscience basically at every little thing you do wrong and stuff like that. And it's like, okay. I finally clued into the fact that it's like, the point is not to beat myself up, it's to get better. To be better, as the woke would say. But there's a little differentiation between how you're better, on what situations, and so on, between woke and traditionalists and so on. But there is a rough common thread in some ways where kindness, gentleness, um, cheering, not cheering people on exactly when they're doing wrong, but like encouraging them to do the right thing. And I don't mean some mean spirited, like I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse, but so like a positive advertisement for a new direction if someone's going down the wrong path. That kind of encouragement. Whether it's an advertisement for like how good it'll be when you're done, or how easier it'll be, or how much better you'll feel while you're doing it, or something along those lines. You know, a sort of light touch as opposed to heavy handedness. And to give an example of this kind of thinking, one of the suggestions YouTube gave me was escaping the algorithmic echo chamber through radical self-reliance and traditionalist um, dot dot dot. So it's not the title's longer than that, but I can't read it because my internet's out at the moment. But basically, I was thinking about it, I'm like, there's two kinds of self-reliance in some ways. There's like the autism sort of like technically correct version, which is like you're actually reliant on yourself and nothing else, like God is, which is like incorrect. And this is kind of Calvinist in a sense, but God is the only self reliant thing in actuality. God is the full creator, or maybe not, like, you know what I mean? He like creates things from nothing, and humans are sub creators. They create things out of other things. And the self reliance thing is more like when you're doing good, God is working through you, but you're still doing good. So you give the credit to God more or less for the good you do and so on, and when you do bad, you take the responsibility. But it's not like this is supposed to be this kind of like I can do no right, I can do no right, I can do no right kind of thing. That's the wrong way to approach it. It's God gives me the ability to do right. And you generally know when you're doing right, to be honest, deep down in your soul. You're not too worked up about it. You're relatively at ease and peace, and you are self-aware and critical of yourself a little bit, like self-reflection or self-awareness or something like that. So you're not just blind in your assumptions about yourself. You're looking at yourself and going like, okay, I could improve here. Or I did this thing right. I did this thing wrong. I could improve here. I'm pretty okay here, and so on. You know, um, and those are the two types. The sort of like I'm God. I'm totally my own creator, or like God is the creator and He's working through me, kind of, when I do right. And you don't just assume you're always doing right, but you don't assume you're always doing wrong either. Anyways, this is a bit of a detour, but I wanted to get it off my chest because this is what inspired the video in the first place. For some reason, and I just opened with my channel history and gaming desires, future as the motivation for making the video. So I lied, I guess. But I did want to touch on that a little bit too, which is I am going to move away from the metaphysics and those little tags on the that YouTube suggested my channel would benefit from in some ways. I'm going to move away from that a little bit into gaming because I feel like I've said all the foundational stuff I want to say about my worldview in some ways and so on. I have a very there's a few values or lessons that I've learned the hard way often because I'm kind of an idiot, but or egotistical or something. So I had to learn the hard way. Um, but I've begun to learn them, and I'm feeling more secure, and I'm feeling better about it myself and stuff like that. And that is, there's a certain set of values that drives me. One is that envy is poison to the person that holds it. It just makes them sick. It doesn't even if you don't hurt the other person, it makes you sick for having it in some ways. And I don't mean like, oh, you should be feel so terrible that you're envious. I mean like literally being envious makes you feel sick. Like it makes you feel sick, you know. Um it's like jealousy or something. It makes you actually feel sick, you know. And it's like, okay, that's not necessarily a healthy it's not healthy for you even if you're the one being envious but you don't act on it. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, you can want what someone else has in a certain way, as in like to earn what they got, and that's healthy in a way, you know. Um, but you don't want to like be like I have to take it from them specifically. You know what I mean? And um, basically predation or ending someone's existence unreasonably. So self defense is technically allowed, but like just going out and doing that to someone that um, maybe insulted you or something, or didn't said rejected you as a boyfriend or girlfriend or something is wrong. Um, you know what I mean? Um, what else? What else? I do like a little bit of social safety nets. I rely on it, and I recognize that people need it and so on to get by reasonably sometimes. Otherwise, they suffer greatly if they don't have that social safety net. But I want it to be relatively basic and to encourage free enterprise and free market the most. So you have like a three-layer system of free markets, natural monopolies, maybe those are nationalized, or the state or province, or county or whatever, or region nationalizes it or whatever. And then you have like the social safety net, which should be basic. With a healthy free market, the other systems actually benefit off them somewhat. Because there's more money to go around, because more people are making things, because they get directly rewarded for making things. You know, and greed is bad, but it shouldn't be illegal to be greedy. It often destroys the people that are greedy in the end, or wrecks their life, or makes them miserable, and so on. So, generally speaking, helping and encouraging them to um, change their ways a little bit is actually a good way to go about it. Takey, takey, grabby, grabby makes people clam up instead of helping you and other people. So that's actually a net negative. And as you can tell, this is anti socialist, so I'm definitely a right winger, but I'm trying to use the more human terms to describe it instead of ideological terms, because it's more fundamental and primal in some sense, and people can understand the concept better, more easily, I hope. Um, Struggle, snuggle, and game end on other people should be seriously punished. Obvious crimes should have obvious punishments. Um, a little nasty speech doesn't really hurt that often unless it's fighting words, but fighting words is usually contextually driven, based on the situation slightly, where it's like you're either like taunting someone, and like if you're following and taunting someone, then there's like this element of fighting words that doesn't exist when it's just like someone insults you and you use a slur on them, like racial or homosexual slur on them back after they insult you. You know, or like if you're advancing on someone with a gang of people and you start using the slurs, then it's like that's fighting words as well. So a little bit of annoying or mean-spirited speech should not be punished really, um, but like threats of violence, calls to other people doing violence to them, or something like that should be actually dealt with in some ways. Um, yeah, and I think the internet should be relatively free. I don't mean necessarily costless, because everything has a cost if you're using it eventually. But like free as in like unbound in some ways, right? So like no government algorithmic control or domination or whatever, uh, or no government rules on who can access the internet age wise, but have familial family decide for themselves, and like use and like have the market produce dumb phones if you don't want your kid to access the internet at school, but to have like a communication line to you uh, when they're at school, or something like that. And like just generally a chilling out kind of. I'm guilty of this as much as anyone, where like I don't chill out. I kind of like really get worked up and insult people and like criticize them and stuff like that. But part of my gaming shift is going to be that I'm going to focus on gaming with friends and family and maybe join other people a little bit too and stuff. And find people I can vibe with to like just enjoy the games together and stuff like that. I'll still get political because it's part of me who I am in a sense. But like I'm gonna do it less, I hope. Or like more mild and mellow. Um, Even this video is political in some sense, but that's kind of the style that I'm aiming for now. Um, uh, in the future, essentially. So that's about like it's like I want to be a gamer bro, kind of like chill, sage, shaman, kind of like I kind of want to be like a I am a chud. So if anyone feels off put by that, I'm just gonna say it outright first. I'm basically like trying to mellow out as a chud, and that doesn't mean not being right wing for me. That means like seeing past the ideological barriers of someone, hopefully a little bit more than before. And like I don't know if it'll work because like maybe I fail at it or maybe they don't have any inkling of like actually trying to do the same for me. So I was like, okay. But like, and I'm not going to look for leftists to play games with. I'm going to look for like conservative or right-wing people to play games with and so on. And just sort of like be a little campfire for people to join who share our views and interests and stuff like that. Um, or if they want to troll or something, I guess they can do that too. Um, but yeah, I want to get my sharp insight and wit back and like my executive functioning because I had a psychotic break for a good while and I'm just recovering now basically. I've been in recovery for a while basically and it's like beginning to show fruit a little bit, like big time compared to before. So it's like actually kind of good. Yeah. But basically, I'm not looking to change the world at this point, really. I've got my colleagues or comrades in arms or whatever. But basically, I'm just looking to like chill, vibe, enjoy life, and like have a good time with other people. I don't know what that's going to look like exactly or if I'm going to succeed at it or there's a million different ways it could fail basically or like no one watches the videos after like a year of publishing videos. I mean like literally no one. Um but like I'm going to try. Actually tonight I'm probably going to stream a game and we'll see how that works.